family, it's Tasha MAMABEAR Prepping. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Pull your drink up. You already know what time it is. Let's talk about it. We're about to dive into a pretty, I don't know, kind of heavy topic. Not really. So with a lot of things, with a lot of emergency preparedness, different type things, the biggest thing about SHTF and preparing in general is to have a plan and to write out those plans and understand what are the things that could happen around you and your family, around where you live, right? For example, natural disasters. Maybe it's hurricanes, maybe it's tornadoes, maybe it's just heavy snowstorms during that season. You know, maybe it's earthquakes, maybe it's fires. Whatever it is where you live that you kind of wrap your head around as far as emergency, crisis, and the everyday things that could happen at any point, right? Okay, so you have that, right? But then you have this looming like SHTF, you know, the big and bad, the crazy, the black swan events, the end of the world type events, and preparing for that and stockpiling for that and basically just getting ready for that. And what is the plan when things happen? And a lot of times people are like, well, I wouldn't even know what to do in SHTF. Like when stuff starts to go left, once you've recognized that something is happening, something very, very bad is happening, like what are your next steps? Well, you need to come up with a plan of what your next steps are. However, I've got 6 things that are just kind of overarching key things that are the first things you're going to do when it comes to SHTF. Now, these are not very these don't dive in. These aren't very super specific, like step 1, you're going to do this. Step 2, you're going to do this. No, these are overarching things that you're going to do and you're going to be make sure you're handling during any SHTF, any major event where everybody and their mother knows something is happening and going on, right? And there's a lot of confusion in that, right? People might not even understand exactly what is happening. They can see something's happening, but they really don't know the why, the cause. Why are we going, why are we, plunged into darkness right now? Why do the cars not work right now? What is happening? Why did it happen? Okay. All right. So let's dive in. Number 1 is get everybody home. Your number 1 goal. And for me, a very, very big concern is what happens when family members are out and about and when they're far, if they're far away, if it's a commute for work, if it's school. For me, I take this further. How many bodies of water do they have to travel over? How many bridges? How many, right? So it's a matter of getting everybody home, right? Kids home from daycares, kids home from schools, hubbies and other family members home from work. Maybe it's kids from work, right? You have teenage kids or older kids, adult kids, getting them home from work. This goes further. And, people, if something major has happened, what is that key turning point that tells that group of people or that family that and you've told and the plan is for them to come to you? What is the key thing that happens where they get to you? So for them, maybe it's traveling. For some people that plan to bug out, this is the moment where they're just getting everybody together and they're bugging out, right? Get everybody home, get everybody together, no matter what. That's where every single plan starts, is everybody is home, okay? All right. Part of that plan would be people learning what it is they need to do in order to get home and you preparing for that. Hubby, for example, has several waterways that he has to, between home and work, that currently right now he has to get over. What do you do to prepare for that, right? What items can you put in the car, for example, to help assist him to be able to do that? What are his options for going around or other routes, right? What does that add to the game plan as far as what's happening, right? So there's a lot to think about and there's a lot that can be done, okay? Number 2 thing is collect intel. This is you figuring out or trying to figure out what is happening. This is you pulling out radios, trying to listen to emergency broadcasts. Is there anything coming in on the phone, tablets, that type of thing? Or is that totally dead? Is it AM, FM radios? Shortwave radios? Is it, your ham radio? How are you getting information and what is happening? Are you getting information at all? Yes, at this point, you could be talking to people. You could be talking to neighbors. I would not be venturing out far, but you could be right there in your yards discussing with neighbors what they think it is, or maybe they have intel. Maybe they know what's going on, right? So you're listening to that information of what is happening and the information that's coming in because intel and knowledge is power, right? Understanding what people are saying or what they saw happened or whatever is very, very important, okay, to your game plan of how you're going to move forward. When we talk about emergency plans, the information you receive is going to set the tone for which direction in the plan you go, how aggressive you need to go, what is the threat levels, what is the this, right? So super important. So you're collecting intel any way you can. Number 3 is you're hunkering down. You're digging in. You're putting the extra locks on. You're making sure everything's locked up. You're bringing stuff inside. Maybe if there's stuff outside that it shouldn't be outside for chaos, for crime. You know, these are things we're doing. Obviously, as soon as SHTF happens, you know, you're not out there like, well, somebody could come tonight and try to steal this. Let me put this up, right? It's not necessarily going to be that extreme right away, right? But for me and my family, we know how bad things can get and how bad we believe things have the potential to get. And so we will be going full force of just hunkering down, locking down. And part of locking down is pulling stuff inside that doesn't need to be outside. It's unnecessary stuff. Deterrence, making sure that everything is working. Motion sensor lights, locks are locked. Possibly that we're engaging secondary locks, third locks, right? Some stuff has that stuff, but on an everyday basis, maybe a side gate, right, only has one little lock, just a normal lock, right? And we're engaging the secondary or third locks, right? So there's different things that you could be doing or employing or get ready, depending on what's going on. This could be us hunkering down, digging in, getting the window situated. This could be us putting plastic on the windows, boarding up the windows, getting ready for some sort of hit to hit. It just depends on what is happening around you, right? What did you learn from that intel? And that is going to tell you if you are hearing that nuclear weapons have been employed some part of the country, and yeah, in your area, it just affected maybe some power, but you're already hearing that stuff. You know, I'm not playing around. We're boarding up windows. We're putting plastic up. We're getting ready. We're making sure we have any last minute stuff that might need to go into the fallout shelter, fallout area, right? We're blocking down the house. We're doing all those things, right? We're basically preparing to hunker down and stay in. And when I say stay in, depending on the situation, stay on your property, your home, your homestead. And this part of the plan can be quite extensive because, you know, do you have animals? Do you have pets? Do you have livestock? You know, how are all these things affected by what you have learned is happening? Number 4 thing I have is defend aggressively, right? From this point, we're starting to now move forward in the timeline. This is maybe ahead, you know, a few days. This isn't necessarily overnight, but as you move forward in the days and the weeks ahead, that aggressive piece is going to be very important, right? Defending is going to be very, very important because it's going to set the tone of what type of family you're going to be in this situation, in this SHTF. Are you going to soft target, hard target? Are people, you know, being able to come in and take from you? Are you appearing weak? Are you able to defend in general, right? This matters, and it gets worse as you move forward because you have people who are desperate, people who are willing to do things they weren't willing to do before. They're starving, they're looking for food, water, they're looking for medicine, they're looking for any kind of supplies, and they are going around trying to find it from anybody that they can find it from. So you at this point, moving forward in the days, the weeks, possibly months ahead, are aggressively defending what you and yours and what you have. Number 5 thing I have is write out the first wave. So the first wave is kind of what we talk about when we talk about these videos, like, oh, 90% of people are gonna die, and you know, the first 90 days or the first 30 days, and you know, in my opinion, chaos is gonna start within that first 3 to 4 days, right? Chaos is gonna start. There might be a little bit of a softer push during that time frame where it's not extreme. But as you move forward, it gets more extreme, more extreme, more extreme. And that first wave, you're buckling down because you're riding that wave of violence, of crime, of people dying, right? There's going to be people, depending on the event that happened, that die immediately, if not soon afterwards. As soon as there's no power, there's nothing to run oxygen machines and dialysis machines and all these life-saving machines that people might be on. Those people are done. People with pacemakers might be done, right? There's just a lot of people with life-saving meds, you know, as soon as 24 hours, they don't get that next set, they just are going to start to decline, right? Elderly people that do not have anybody to take care of them are going to decline quickly. And so that first wave is that first wave of death, you guys, of chaos, of crime, of people not understanding what's going on. And people are going to be scared, right? They're going to be scared. And so therefore, bad stuff's going to be happening. And so you are really riding out that first wave of death, of crime, of violence, right? And again, that is going to ramp up, but it's going to change as you move forward in the weeks, the months. There's medicines that people that need, and as those medicines run out, 30-day supply runs out. People with 60-day supplies runs out. People with 90-day supplies runs out, right? As those folks run out of life-saving meds, right, they're going to be kicking the bucket, right? And it's going to get worse and worse. And then you're going to start in the months into it, you're going to start seeing the level of starvation, the level of can't find water that's safe, hygiene problems, disease problems, all this stuff that's going to be building up when you have chaos like that. And if you're not prepared for it, and your family should not be out in that, right? You should be hunkering down, riding these waves. Number 6 thing is, after you're getting through that first wave, with the same time, you're preparing for additional waves, because it doesn't stop. The dynamic just stops. After you have all these people die, a lot of people are like, well, life's going to be easy. All these people are going to die off. It's going to be great. But it's not, because you're still going to have evil people, desperate people that are going to band up, and they're the strong ones. They're the ones that just have that hardcore survival skill, that just ability to really come together and survive at any cost. And that's when we say it's a dog eat dog world. Those are dogs, right? Those aren't kitty cats. The cats are gone, okay? Those bands of groups of people that are now coming and hitting towns and running through towns, running through house to house, running through building from building, scavenging, taking, killing. They're still pillaging. They're burning down stuff. That is the new thing, right? And so you still have to worry about that. And yeah, maybe you're in an area where they miss you, they don't get you, but people are going to be desperate. And as time goes on, people are going to venture out. They're going to have their maps. They're going to figure out where there's these pockets of people that might have supplies, right? These pockets of homes that are rural that might have supplies, right? And so nobody's going to be safe, and it's going to, you're going to have millions of people that have died, but you're also going to now have the dogs that are left that you have to fight now, that you have to defend it against. And it's a little bit of a different battle when you talk about defending against just a group of, you're just basically in a holding pattern, watching this stuff happen, but now you're in a physical pattern where you have people who are trying to get at you, trying to attack you, and that's not going to stop, right? Unless everybody died, something world-ending died, and there was like less than 1% or something here, something crazy like that. You're always going to have to deal with that, okay? You're going to have to deal with another group of people trying to get at you. And that's where you build friendships, you build alliances, you band together as a community, right? Because that's why we talk about you can't do it by yourself, because later on it's groups of dogs. It's feral dogs, if you will, feral people, and they're strong together, right? And so how do you battle that? You can't do it alone. Is there groups you can handle alone? Sure. Right situation, right setup, right weapons, right everything? Sure, absolutely. But to do that over and over and over and over again is daunting, would be tiring. It only takes one slip up. It only takes one time when you're down and then they come. It only takes one moment where they hit you at the right spot, right? And then you're overtaken and it's a wrap, right? Or they, at a minimum, overrun you and you're chased off and they get all your stuff, okay? And if you haven't prepared to hide it and make sure that you're prepared for marauders actually breaking the line, then you could possibly lose everything, okay? All right, my throat is like just scratchy. I'm sure somebody's gonna be like, do we have to listen to you swallow and slurp your coffee? Yes, you do, when my throat hurts, and I need to quench it, okay? So Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed those 6 things. Let me know what are the things. Now, I know there's going to be stuff people are like, no, you do this, this, and this. Remember, this list wasn't a very specific detail, like, okay, step 1, you're going to do this. That's what your emergency preparedness plans are for. On, hey, we're preparing for this. This is step 1. This is step 2. This is step 3. You're going to plan that out depending on your situation, your family, your dynamic of that. This is your just overarching things that you're going to be thinking about and trying to do, because a lot of people hit me up and they're panicked. They're like, what will we even do? I don't even know what the first step is. I don't even know how you begin to plan. And so hopefully these overarching things, write them down and then start to plan off of them. And then before you know it, you're going to have your steps, and you can move steps around like, okay, it makes sense that we would concentrate on this first and whatever, right? And there's going to be steps within that, that get everyone home. That's a whole section. That's a whole step that it, has to be thought out, has to be thought about where everybody's at, or how little are people. Is a parent or an adult needing to leave to go get a little child? What are protocols for schools? What, all this stuff, all of this stuff needs to be thought out, planned out, researched, and then developed into a plan step by step. Okay. So, I hope you guys are well today. I went out to do the chickens, and it was sprinkling just a little bit, not even a steady sprinkle. It was just kind of a spittle, but it was there. So I'm gonna actually take a look at the weather, because I didn't know it was supposed to rain. It's super cloudy right now. So we've been having 70 days, 80 days. Yesterday was like 75. Day before that was like in the 80s. And so now we have this. So I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the weather for a minute. I have to take a look at it and see what's going on. So you guys be well. I hope you guys have a great Friday, and I hope you guys have a great weekend, productive, spend some time with your family, have a good time. And I'll see you guys next week on the next video. Take care. Bye.